day succumbs, tables wait, the bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. The sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
And welcome. We are fast approaching the midpoint of the work week. We got about 20 minutes to go, 25 minutes or so. Up to this point, we're working our way into the week. And then after this, we're working our way to the weekend, right? And I'm glad that you decided to come and share your liquid lunch with me today, because why not? One cheeseburger to another. Anyway, let's say hi to all of you that are here. First one up is the love of my life, Netter of Netters Network. Thank you, my dear. She says, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, become a member, gift a membership. Yes, please do all of these things, because I am trying to get back to 100 members, where we were at the beginning of the year. I'd at least like to get back to that point. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Big L says, WTF Wednesday, Liquid Lunchers. Hope your F is more fun then. Have a great show, Troy. Thank you so much. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to have a little fun with poking fun at someone who kind of deserves it, I think. I just realized I'm missing a light over here. Yeah. What was the whole point of putting this in if we're not going to turn it on? Come on. There we go. That's a little bit better. Brighten it up in here just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. And hail to you, Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, and Fluff Chick Productions. Always good to see you. And Mark Melnikoff says, Mech Paul. what to watch? This stream or the governor's budget address, which is at noon as well? I'm not having that oversized cheeseburger, so I'll stay here with this oversized cheeseburger. Better content anyway. Yes, exactly. I can sum it up for you. We're going to spend a bunch of money on things that give me virtue signal points. Going to cater to the socialist mob. But what's really happening is I'm going to funnel this money to my donors and my family in particular. Boom. Now you don't have to see it. I've already told you exactly what you would find there. There's another light that's not on. See, there we go. Oh, see, that's better. That's better. Limited light here, for crying out loud. Let's get the lights on here. Start the show, light the lights. Da da dee da 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 da. And Jonathan Conroy says, hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show. Yes, please do. Please do all those clicky things. I would greatly appreciate it. Geek Flag with Nate Knows says, like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member. And if you were going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not give a membership instead to help us get back to that 100 members? That would be absolutely a wonderful thing. Well, I would like to think, and by all means, if you disagree with me, tell me. But I like to think that I'm a pretty honest guy. If I make a mistake, if I say something that's wrong and it's brought to my attention, I will absolutely address it, correct it, apologize for it. Yes, I understand the adage, never apologize. It's a sign of weakness. But I think it's also a sign of weakness to not admit when you were wrong. And I think that many in the so-called entertainment industry, especially those who claim to be members of the media, members of the news, members of the talk sphere that are meant to be, albeit humorous, supposed to be telling the truth. Not so much. So let's get to it right now. Where apparently Stephen Colbert blasts CBS after network refutes his claim that they censored his political interview. Now, I don't know. I have two articles related to this, both from that Park Place, both by Marvin Montanaro. Great pieces, both linked in the description below. Check them out for yourself. I don't know which one is meant to be read first and which one is meant to be read second. And I'm not going to read the whole things, but I'm going to get through the gist of it in just a moment. So much for the snow yesterday. Just 10 minutes after the stream ended, it stopped snowing. Today seems to have a stronger snowfall so far. Well, keep us posted. Let us know how that goes. If you get enough snow, you can go out and do donuts in a parking lot. But something tells me it's not going to stick very long for you. So yeah, Stephen Colbert. This guy, I mean, I assume he's a guy. I hate to assume gendership. He could just be, an aging lesbian. I can't tell for sure, but I'm going to assume with the name Stephen Colbert that his pronouns are he, him. He doesn't act much like a he, him, but yeah. Whoops. This one, Marvin Montanaro, however, is truly a he, him. He is a real man who knows how to write, unlike this guy. Late night host Stephen Colbert is escalating his public feud with CBS, this time lashing out at the network after it issued a statement directly contradicting his on-air claim that executives had blocked a politically charged interview from airing on The Late Show. During Tuesday night's broadcast, Colbert addressed the growing controversy head on, accusing his own network of going behind his back when it moved to publicly rebut his version of events. Without ever talking to me, because they don't have to. The corporation put out their press release. See, they're more concerned with what their lawyers say than what you say, Stephen. Colbert told his audience, holding up CBS's statement on air, this statement, it's a surprisingly small piece of paper considering how many butts it's trying to cover. Yup. And they don't give a flying fig about yours. These remarks are the latest turn in a dispute that began after Colbert revealed his interview with Texas State Rep and U.S. Senate candidate James Tallarico would not air on the broadcast program. Colbert previously claimed CBS attorneys told staff in no uncertain terms that the interview could not run, adding during Monday's monologue, not only could it not have him on, I could not mention me not having him on. But CBS quickly moved to dispute that characterization. In a formal statement, the network said the interview was never prohibited, only flagged for regulatory risk tied to federal broadcast law. I know this is a hard concept for many of our friends on the left to understand, but laws exist. They are on the books, and they represent a liability to anybody who breaks those laws. And ignorance of the law is not a defense. You will be prosecuted, and you will not enjoy the ramifications of breaking the law, right? This isn't about opinions. This isn't about your feelings. This is about reality. Start living in reality and dealing with it, and you'll be happier. You won't feel happier initially. You want to live in your fantasy. That brings you happiness. But unfortunately, trying to do that invokes repercussions that are much more real than your fantasy, and they will not be pleasant. So making your reality as pleasant as possible and dealing with the real world and its consequences in the long term will bring you much more happiness and peace. Just a little FYI, a little suggestion. The Late Show was not prohibited by CBS from broadcasting the interview with Rep. James Tallarico, a spokesperson said. The show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the FCC equal time rule for two other candidates, including Rep. Jamie Crockett, and presented options for how the equal time for other candidates could be fulfilled. So it's not that you can't do it. It's that if you're going to do it, you need to find a way to allot time to the other candidates. And there is a reason for this. If a station, if a network gives preferential treatment to one candidate over another, that demonstrates bias and is illegal under the FCC. Now, here's something that's very interesting. We always talk about freedom of the press. We always talk about the First Amendment, right? But these things are not applied equally because citizens and individuals have blanket immunity of that First Amendment. You absolutely are free to say whatever you want, understanding that there are consequences to certain speech, right? You incite violence, you could be charged with that crime, right? You won't be charged for saying it. You'll be charged that saying so incited violence, and you are responsible for that violence. The media under the FCC has certain regulatory regulations that have nothing to do with the First Amendment. Colbert is free to go out on the street and say to the first person he sees whatever he wants. But what he says on the air, under CBS, under the FCC, has regulatory implications. So you have one candidate on. Why didn't you have the other two on? Legally, you have to. And CBS wasn't prepared to do that. They weren't prepared to create more time on this show or, in general for the other candidates. You can't do that unilaterally. You can't make that decision for your company. And again, this is about a company making a decision that he needs to abide by, not a government. Government is just has a regulation in place. And if you don't like that regulation, feel free to reach out to whatever politician you think you're interviewing and asking them if they could possibly change that when they get to Congress, right? Let's see. CBS further stated that the show ultimately chose to release the interview on YouTube with on-air promotion rather than pursue equal time accommodations for the broadcast itself. See, that's what I'm talking about. If you're not under the FCC, he like I said, he could go out on the street and say whatever he wanted, or just publish it on YouTube. YouTube does not say you have to. If I were to do a show, a stream dedicated to the Second Amendment and how important it is that you exercise your Second Amendment rights and you carry for protection and whatever, I am not then required to do another stream with equal amount of time talking about banning guns and how no one should own guns and bad. I don't have to. I am an individual espousing my own opinion to only those people that choose to follow me. And I am not regulated by the FCC, Federal Communication Commission, I believe it is. In other words, according to the network, the segment wasn't censored. It was redirected by Colbert's choosing. But Colbert doubled down. He told his viewers that every word of the Monday night script had been approved by CBS lawyers before the interview was pulled, and said he even received additional legal notes during the commercial break. Something he claimed had never happened in the show's run. So you're saying they were not paying any attention to FCC regulations. Understood. Up till now, they've been ignoring the FCC. Let's make sure that's in the public record. Despite the sharp criticism, Colbert attempted to soften the corporate clash by closing with a more conciliatory note. So I don't know what this is about. For the record, I'm not even mad. I really don't want an adversarial relationship with the network. No, of course you don't. Still, the public nature of the back and forth has already created precisely that dynamic, a rare spectacle of a network star openly sparring with his own employer in real time. Colbert's claim that CBS issued a statement without ever talking to me raises an obvious follow-up question. Do the host speak with the network before going on air and accusing it of censorship? That's a good point. Did you clear that statement with CBS? Hypocrisy is rampant. Let me just say that. Colbert claims that the network approved every word of the script Monday night, but he also claimed that they told him that he couldn't air the interview, which the network refutes. As if CBS didn't consult him before releasing its rebuttal, the network may have been reacting to his public accusations. If Colbert didn't consult CBS before leveling those accusations, the escalation may have been mutual. Either way, the dispute appears to have played out more in public than behind closed doors. Whatever the internal dynamics, the external impact is undeniable. particularly when it comes to audience attention. Colbert's YouTube release of the Tallarico interview has exploded in viewership, drawing 5.6 million views, a figure that dwarfs the performance of most late-night interview uploads, which rarely approach the million-view mark. Interesting. So by censoring him, they made sure that he got 5 times the viewership that it otherwise would have. The surge suggests the censorship narrative, whether fully accurate or not, dramatically boosted public interest. Controversy, it seems, drove clicks. The spike mirrors past late-night flashpoints where perceived suspension fueled short-term audience surges as viewers rallied around hosts framed as targets of political or corporate pressure. At the core of the dispute, the FCC's equal time rule, which requires broadcasters to provide comparable airtime for competing political candidates during election cycles. Keep in mind, too, that it's not just the FCC. The underlying principles here relate directly to campaign law and campaign finance. Usually this kind of airtime to talk about your platforms and campaign for a public office, that usually costs money, and if you are given a benefit by a network, there is a financial value to that, even if your campaign isn't actually paying out for it, that your candidates did not get, and that is perceived as very, very unfair in this democratically elected process that we have here. That's no bueno for people that are always talking about defending democracy. This is how you act against democracy, by undermining the democratic process. Networks routinely flag potential triggers and outline compliance pathways, ranging from rebuttal blocking to adjusting distribution strategies. CBS maintains that that is exactly what happened here. Legal caution, not censorship. Colbert, by contrast, framed the situation as institutional suppression. Of course he did. He claimed the victim mentality, even linking the dispute to broader political pressure surrounding federal regulation and the Trump administration. Of course, they had to bring Trump into it because Trump is their ultimate boogeyman. The rhetoric helped galvanize his audience, but it also invited scrutiny once CBS publicly contradicted the claim. With both narratives now on record, the controversy has shifted from a censorship story to a credibility contest. Colbert's version is the interview was effectively blocked under political pressure. CBS's version, the show received routine legal guidance and chose an alternate distribution path. It's really, really hard to claim that the interview was blocked when it was specifically released on YouTube. That's not how you block something. That's how you find an alternative method to get it out there. The truth may ultimately rest in how one defines prohibited versus advised against, but the fallout is already clear. Colbert's succeeded in drawing massive attention to the interview and to himself, as he always does. In the final stretch of his late-night tenure, whether that attention was driven by misunderstanding, legal interpretation or strategic framing is now the question hanging over the saga. Thanks to CBS's public rebuttal, it's a question that isn't going away anytime soon. So let's see what you guys had to say about this. I saw the comments kind of jumping pretty fast. Stephen Colbert is a computer voice on Starfleet, leading Leering Academy. Yet another reason not to watch. Yes. By your fruits shall you know them. You associate Stephen Colbert with his role in absolutely the worst Star Trek series ever created. It really is. I didn't think they could do worse than Star Trek Discovery, the STD of Star Trek. No, they decided to take it beyond an STD to Starfleet Academy. I finished a complete story in YouTube Shorts called The Last Gate. So if you all have the free time and want to check it out, I would appreciate it. And any comments, thoughts, or critiques. You know something else you can do with that, Nate? Of course, you know you should have your playlists and everything, so people can easily find your videos. But you can take all those shorts into an editing program and turn it all into one long stream that you could put up as a standalone video as well. Just something to think about there. And add dollars that pay the bills and keep the lights on. There you go. They simply told him he was going to have one candidate who is running for public office on his show. He needs to give equal time. Exactly. That's exactly right. But that doesn't garner him as much sympathy points with his audience. He wants to cry about it like a little baby. Yeah, that's exactly right. Real Wade Nation Gaming recap. Good to see you, my friend. He's asking for my opinion on people leaving Ripaverse. Are we talking about people that have been working with him and the company and they're leaving the company? Or are you talking about readership leaving? Let me know about that. I want to make sure I understand your question. Because if there's something that's come up in the talkosphere that I didn't know about, I didn't know about it. I can see companies going forward with new wording in any future contracts with live action content. They will try to cut off future lawsuits. Fair enough. Fair enough. Greetings, CK, the longest running superhero RPG on Earth. Good to see you. And Tree Rock Creations. Oh, CBS, Communist Broadcast System. Yeah, and yet, interestingly enough, they're on the side of democracy on this one. That's very, very interesting. It's almost as if government regulations and laws actually do have an impact and consequence. It's amazing, isn't it? I'm talking about workers. I can't even speak to that. I could have spoken to readership, because I have in the past been a supporter of the Ripaverse. But as far as workers, I didn't even know that anyone was leaving. So I certainly don't know the circumstances of it. So I couldn't offer anything on. But I'll look into it a little bit more. Maybe come Tuesday we can, if you're around and you want to talk about it, we could bring it up again. Yeah, kind of forgot about the Ripaverse. I loved their business model. I really did. In a world where so many things are pre-orders, and I've got action figures coming in that I ordered a year and a half ago, and that is like, did you order and I'm like, yeah, like a year and a half ago, I mean, but with the Ripaverse, he'll announce a graphic novel, and that's kind of how he does it. He doesn't do individual monthlies like most comics do. He just goes straight to the trade. He's already got it ready to go. He's just taking the pre-orders to see how many he needs to print out. Then he prints those out, and he prints a little bit of surplus just in case. And then you have them in like 3 to 4 months. And you've got in your hand basically a year's worth of comics. It's kind of like a streaming show dropping everything all at once. You can parse it out, read a little bit over the course of the year, or you can read it all at once and then wait a year. That's on you. That's not on them. So great distribution model for the Rippaverse. But there was a lot of buy-in right at the beginning where you had a lot of titles coming at you all at once, and I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't keep up with it. And as much as I liked the first comic, it just didn't grab me. And I'm not sure that, like other comics, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to get back issues. I don't know if he's going to do reprints or things like that. And that'll make it very, very difficult for people that come in later wanting to get into it. But again, these are things I don't know. Their stories and art style didn't really appeal to me. I'm surprised. I really liked it. There were some shortcomings to some of the story telling elements. I didn't feel that there was enough. You come in so en medias res that you have no idea who these characters are, what the world is all about. I understand you're supposed to get that as you go, but that might just be too much to expect from a new audience. But I thought the art style was just fine. I thought it was great. Despite being a fan of it being an actual alternative and rival to the mainstream comics. Well, you know, I don't know what's going on over there right now. Oh, well, I guess I kind of just did, didn't I? I didn't even see her comment, and I guess I kind of already did. Yeah, you know, mainstream comics are dying so badly that even moderate success is going to look huge by comparison. And what's really huge is the week of streams and content that I've got coming up this week. Let my announcer friends tell you all about it, and we'll get back to you on this topic in just about 3.5 minutes. And I'm going to refill my drink. Be right back.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies. After stealing a mysterious orb in the far reaches of space, Peter Quill becomes the main target of a manhunt led by Ronan the Accuser. To fight Ronan and save the galaxy, Quill creates a team of space heroes to save the galaxy, calling themselves, surprisingly, the Guardians of the Galaxy. This Saturday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, on Netter's Network Retro Cinema.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Last Call with Troy Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it elsewhere, but Boomer and Pacelli spin it like only two old geezers can. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Last Call presents Doctor Who. The Doctor and Susan supply Marco Polo with water condensed inside the TARDIS, saving the group from dying of thirst. When the caravan reunite with Tegana, the travellers begin to suspect something. Then the TARDIS crew manage to rescue Barbara from the Mongols, but Marco remains unaware of Tegana's involvement. It's part 2 of the reconstruction of the Marco Polo missing episodes, Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Central, 12:30 Eastern.
Hello. While you're here, please visit our merch store where you can get cute t-shirts just like this. Link in the description below. Or use this QR code on your mobile device. Hope you find something you like. Every Monday night is Members Night at the movies on Last Call. Members enjoy an exclusive watch party just for them, and you can join too for as little as $1.99 a month. This week on Last Call, the topic is AI, a topic very dear to my heart. So the members are choosing between 4 AI-themed films for the Monday night feature. Members, be sure to get over to the community tab and vote for your favorite. And if you're not a member, please consider it. It really helps support what we do here at Last Call. Thanks. This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, there won't be a rewatch. Rather, the superfans will be doing a deep dive discussion of the pilot episode we watched this past week. There was just too much to say in one stream. Join us this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
Holmes receives a surprise visit from the Prime Minister, asking his assistance in the recovery of a sensitive diplomatic letter stolen from a diplomat's home. Can Holmes recover this letter so incendiary that it might lead Great Britain into war if published? We'll find out this Tuesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Last Call presents the return of Sherlock Holmes.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
A small company like Rippaverse can have a large turnover. Just look at your local grocery store. You will see your regulars and your temps. Yep, that's true. I just felt uneasy that I never got into Rippaverse. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't know how easy it is for someone who didn't get in at the ground floor to get into now. If there isn't some method by which you can pick up back issues, that's going to be a bad long-term business model. That is a big weakness in his because if that's the case, then he's already seen his maximum viewership, and it just goes down from there. For whatever reason, not because he's not doing a good job, but people fall off because of finances, because they die, any number of things, or they just lose interest. And, you're not going to get people back in if they've missed too much and can't get caught up. And you can't get new people if they can't get caught up either. But I don't know that's the case. I may be wrong. Maybe they have a section on their webpage for back issues and reprints and things like that. And what would be smart is if it said, we still have copies of the first printing. That's a premium price, but we have these reprints, maybe even with alternate covers or something for a different price, and so on and so forth. Just saying. Marketing. So I follow some guys who work for Marvel on Facebook, and I've noticed that I post links to my RPG, and they've seen it. And then a few months later, my ideas here and there are ending up in Marvel Comics. Now that's incredibly frustrating on 2 points, because one, if you try to solicit an idea directly to most comic book companies, most writers, most movie companies, they will reject it outright because they're afraid of being sued for inadvertently stealing someone's idea. Here's an example. I knew a guy who was a writer who submitted a story to I believe it was CBS at the time for like a Deep Space Nine episode or something like that. And he was told, they never even opened it. They sent it back to him unopened with a note saying that they could not accept unsolicited treatments for anything, because the letter was very professional, but also very positive, very kind, I would say, from a business point of view, explaining that if they read it, and even if they didn't use the idea, but they already were thinking along those lines and were already had stories in place leading up to that, they would have to completely scrap what they were doing, because you could come out later and say, you did this because I sent this to you, and sue me and sue them. And that's incredibly frustrating, because I think there's a lot of people that would just like, I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for a finder's fee. I'm not looking for credit or anything. I just want to see a good story happen. Here's an idea. Nope, they can't even take that. For legal reasons, they just can't. And then Marvel turns and does something like this. That is just sucky. That is just sucky. But what I will say to you about that, CK, is if you're putting it out there publicly, you can't prove that they saw it or they knew about it. And if you're putting it out publicly, you can't lay claim to it, you know. But it does show how creatively bankrupt these people are, that they're trolling fan sites to steal ideas from fans. But then again, look at Disney stealing whole fight choreography from fans. On my channel, I did a thing with a clone of Rogue hunting the X-Men, stealing their powers, etc. And now it's in Marvel, down to her metal skin, adamantium claws, and Nightcrawler's tail, etc. Cheers to you, mate, for some great ideas. Jeers to the Marvel comic writers who couldn't come up with it themselves, and had to copy somebody else's homework, and probably didn't even present it as well as you did in your game, I'll bet. Hey everyone, a fun question I have on my mind. What is your dream game set in the DC universe? Well, I'll tell you, Final Fantasy fan, it's longest running superhero RPG on earth that you should be talking to. Make sure you are subscribed to his channel, and make sure you have the notifications on for every single video he puts out. That is everything you want to see about a dream game in the DC universe. Likewise, they are using Red Thor character now too. It's terrible. With Diamond going under, I didn't hear about that, really. Diamond going under and holding product as hostage. I have many holes in my comic collection. It was bound to happen eventually. Diamond's business model was just absolutely terrible. They were sending themselves into a death spiral. And what are you going to do? I do want to get to one other quick thing. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I did want to touch on this because this was another WTF. What is this world really coming to? Also from That Park Place, this one is from Trevor Denning. Silence of the Lamb team apologizes to gender activists for making one of the greatest thriller films of all time. That's right. My feeling is if you create something that's successful, some piece of movie, film, a TV show, whatever, that's very successful, and it offends somebody, and you're bothered by the fact that you offended somebody, just give them all the money. If you don't do that, I don't care what you have to say about it. I'm not saying you should have to. I'm not saying that I agree that it's okay to be offended by this. I'm not saying that anyone was in the wrong for creating this film. I think the hypocrisy is ridiculous. You continue to light your cigars with those $100 bills that you got from making this movie, but you go, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So let's on its 35th anniversary, some of the creatives behind The Silence of the Lambs want to apologize for certain aspects of the iconic film. While long celebrated as one of the greatest horror thrillers of the 1990s, if not of all time, modern gender activists have claimed that the film has raised concerns about reinforcing negative stereotypes when viewed through a contemporary cultural lens. Really? Really, what kind of negative stereotypes could you possibly be referring to? The conflict comes from the characterization of Buffalo Bill, the serial killer, who skinned his female victims so that he could make himself into a woman. Now, Edward Saxon, who produced the film, and Ted Levine, who played Buffalo Bill, are expressing some regret. Yes, I mean, this is terrible. This is just terrible because we know that transgendered people never commit murders. Anyway, in an interview with Hollywood Reporter, Saxon and Levine discussed the film's legacy and how their feelings about The Silence of the Lambs has changed. There are if it's changed, maybe you should donate that money, all of it, to someone you feel you wronged. Otherwise, shut the fuck up, for crying out loud. We all know more, and I'm a lot wiser about transgender issues. There are some lines that script and movies that are unfortunate. Yeah, like I said, transgendered people never commit murders. They're never criminals. They're never violent. That's just so wrong. Yeah. Yep. Ed Gein. Ed Gein was a real person that did really bad things like that. That's absolutely right. And it wasn't just Buffalo Bill that was inspired by that. Psycho, Norman Bates, was based on Ed Gein, and Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on Ed Gein. Are we going to go back and apologize for Psycho as well? Oh, they probably didn't they? Yeah, get over it. Get over it, people. Really. Again, going back to what I was saying before about dealing in reality. Dealing in reality and living in the real world. Paying attention to what's really going on. Get over your fantasies, right? Because I have intersectionalism and I identify as this, that, and the other. I am above reproach. I can't do anything wrong. You know what? The color of your skin, who you choose to have bedroom activities with, and your political ideology means nothing. You are as capable of being a good person as you are of being a bad person. You are as capable of being truly friendly, kind, loving, and inclusive as you are to be a serial killer or a murderer or just lashing out at people in anger. You don't suddenly become virtuous because you decide to cut things off of your body and take large doses of chemicals to alter your body chemistry. And then, when you get angry, a startling metamorphosis occurs. Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Maybe that's offensive too. Yes, the inspiration for Norman Bates, exactly. I remember watching that movie at the theater. Still gives me the chills. And again, this has less to do with the overall characterization and the success of the film and all that. You cared about the characters. In fact, I would argue you cared so much about the characters that when they got into the sequels, and the FBI agent decides to, spoiler for a book that's, almost 20 years old now. The FBI agent gives up being an FBI agent and joins Hannibal Lecter as a cannibal, and they run away together to commit murders or something. I mean, it's like, what? Are you serious? The hell? My buddy, who was really, really into this book series, when he got to that point in the book, he just threw the book down. He's like, the hell is this? And he literally took the book back to the store and said, I want my money back. It's just ridiculous. Was that Red Dragon? Or was there one after that? I don't remember, but anyway. Good guys and bad guys come in all shapes and sizes, colors, and both genders. Both genders. There's only two, right? Pick one. Imagine if Norman Bates had a butler. How can I help you today, Master Bates? Might have been mistress. Don't assume gender in a situation like that. Remember. Is that what women do? Mistress Bates? I'm sorry. Anyway, that's the show for today. I really should cut it off right there because, oh my gosh. The only stream tonight that I'm aware of is Doomcock Pop Culture Breakdown. Go check it out. It's always a good time. It should be, crossing my fingers, it should be a Dungeons & Dragons night for me. It wasn't last week. My DM never even commented to say sorry about last week, whatever. But anyway, this is what happens. The life of a lawyer, I suppose. But anyway, I would ask you all to take care of yourselves. I'm going to keep pushing this thing about being hydrated, hail hydration, because I know people personally that are having some issues with that. Those of us that have sleep problems and maybe use a device to help us breathe better at night, not snore, are coming to realize that there are other problems that you can have with sleeping. If you are underhydrated, you could get a terrible dry mouth that causes you to choke at night and causes you to wake up. And nothing in a blowing machine is going to help with that. You have to address that in other ways. Little health tip, might want to talk to your doctor about, but make sure you are well hydrated. It's for your health and it's for your comfort too. Just saying. So hail hydration, take care of yourselves, be healthy, drink responsibly because you should. And hopefully I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.